Lucky Boys Podcast.
I go, all right, you got this one. I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll be back. You got this one though.
Yeah, I think like the things that are most challenging has the most impact, either to other people who are inspired by it or actually to yourself as a development thing. So, everything that was challenging, I've always cursed, bitched, moaned, but I think it made me a better person, like a better, made my work ethic better, made me a better like partner, maybe a better boyfriend, family member, a brother.
Yeah, there's one thing that's consistent with you, your flow, and that you bitch and moan. Like, this guy does it nuts, but he's not a quitter. He'll bitch and moan throughout, like, if we're working out together, right? And he's just like 20 minutes and he's like, fuck, you guys go ahead. And we're pushing him like, are you 20 minutes? That's a warm-up, buddy. Like, let's go.
I remember working out with him and my other friend, and we were doing like gym outdoor like playground workouts, right? And we were doing the fireman like pulling up the thing, the pole. And I was at that point where I was like ready to throw up. And by that time I was like, okay, if I'm ready to throw up, I'm just done. But there's moments where people actually quit before that. So it's like you don't want to feel that uncomfortable to the point where your body's rejecting, whatever you're doing. But, I think you have to go past that point to know that that's your limit. Yeah,
you do have to test yourself because I don't think your brain's always honest with you.
Never.
I think when you're at like 30% of your limit, it starts fucking with you. Just like as soon as I'll put a perfect example, I know I could push out more than a mile, but that first mile, my brain is telling me, stop it, stop it. Your legs are, it's talking so much shit to me, right? It's the first mile that's the hardest sometimes, and I'm like, I was like, once I break out of this first mile, I'll be good. I'll be good. I can get the mindset. So eventually, it's like almost like a meditative state. Once you get in the zone, once you find that spot, then you're all right and you could keep going. And then later on, then it's another mental battle, depending on where you are in your fitness. But there is that stage where you do pass the entry level and then you get in a mid stage and now it's fucking with you again.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a constant struggle. But one thing I do give, I give to you, you don't quit. You do bitch a lot though, damn.
Hey, I mean, like, and not everyone's going to be like you. I mean, I'm sure there's people like me out there who was like, they bitch and moan because it's hard, challenges in life, especially when things don't go your way, but they keep going. And I think that's a secret, the consistency, the drive to just keep moving.
Right. I'll tell you a secret. I do bitch and moan, but it's all in here.
It's an internal dialogue with you.
Because I'm fighting myself at that point, because I know dispersing negative energy is not going to get it done. So I try through experience. So I try my best to just keep that dialogue in my head, and because I don't want to spread doubt around the people that's with me, right? I don't want to give that vibe or that energy that oh shit, Will doesn't believe in this anymore, or Will is about to quit on me. Like what's going on. I don't want to do that with the people that's I'm around. I want to let them know, like, we may not have the lead on a scoreboard, but we're going to come back in the second half. We're going to do better. And I never want to put that fear in anyone else because, we're already fighting ourselves. So I think if we're in a team sport or we're together, I want to empower everyone. I want to make sure that everyone around me is strong, rather than the opposite. So I keep that dialogue to myself.
Yeah, and that's
poker face.
That's important, you have to like believe, and even if like you said, your dialogue is like you are bitching and moaning to yourself, like, but you can't, you want to broadcast that, because it's only gonna have like a negative effect, right? You may want to say it, like curse and whatever, but like it's not gonna help at all, right?
I just take that energy and I put it into the work.
That's another way to do it. Like, I'm just gonna take it out.
It's still a form of energy.
Exactly. Take it out on whatever you're doing. It's easy when it's working out. Let's say, you can like put it out into the workout, or the run. Like, I'm gonna run faster, harder, So like, for like physical applications, that's pretty easy thing to do. Like transfer that energy, into like a workout or whatever it is you're doing.
One of the things that kind of get me out of that mode of being, complaining, is to just keep moving. There was a moment in my life where I was out of the job and I had nothing to do, but I knew I wanted to use this time to kind of do something that was worthwhile. So I had free time. I was broke. I had no job. And I wanted to kind of set up this gallery for my dad. He's a painter. He did calligraphy, but at that moment he kind of retired. So I wanted to show his work to the public, his friends, my family. So I did all those things. I found a pop-up shop. I catered. I got catering, and I did a whole gallery for him.
That was really dope.
One day. Yeah,
that was really.
I fed all my friends. Yeah, and I raised money for. He has Parkinson's, so I raised money for that cause as well. But I want to go back to your story when you talked about those light bulb moments where it's like, oh, you had a moment and then you had to act on it. Like what was that? What pushed you to act on those moments?
We were mentioning earlier that talking about signs. So light bulb moments, or sometimes I interpret them more like signs. You could be walking down the street and then like you see something that reminds you of something, or like you heard about something the week prior, and then like somebody else mentions it. So like, and then you're like, wait a minute, I just heard about that, So this ties into like kind of like this story of like destiny and fate and like your life leading you the way you're supposed to go. And I kind of liken it in my head to like Slumdog Millionaire. You know how he has all the answers, right? And it's because of like these memories he has. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, he knows the answer for this because of whatever experience. He knows the answer for this because of another experience. All separate experiences, but he knows all the answers for some damn reason, and all the way, and then he wins. So like, sometimes I feel like I have these moments too, when I'm like, just at any time, like if I hear something one day and then like the week after something happens and I'm like, wait a minute, I just heard about that. So like when those things happen, these light bulb moments or signs, like I'm starting to accept that like, oh, listen to this or pay attention to this. This is a sign for you to take action, go this direction, and don't ignore it, basically, because we were saying earlier, there's all these signs that we have, when we're younger, we ignore it, we don't pay attention to it, we don't cultivate it. But now that we're a little older, like, all right, I think this is a real thing.
And sometimes life pushes you in that direction and you just get this moment of clarity. And when that happens, it is the most beautiful thing, because now you know you have a purpose, you have a direction, you know which way you want to maneuver, and you made a decision. Like when you made a decision, you talked about earlier, when you made a decision to stop smoking. Mm-hmm. I also used to smoke for several years. Mm-hmm. And when I made a decision, something simple like that, sounds simple, but it's extremely difficult. Yeah. When I decided to get into shape, when I had the moment of clarity saying, you know what, I don't want to be unhealthy anymore. I want to be in peak physical condition. Yeah. I want to be able to just push myself to see what I can do physically, right? And those were moments of clarity that I got. And there were little signs that just led me to that day where I just woke up and said, you know what, I'm done. I'm done being this will. Whatever this will is, he's got to go. He's got to go. It's not serving me at all. This dude it's not who I want to be tomorrow. So I let him go. I let that go, and that will is somewhere in me still, but it's not sitting in a front seat anymore. It's not driving. It doesn't have shotgun. It's that boy sitting in a trunk.
Yeah, he's gone.
And it needs to remain that way.